Welcome to the September edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll find out how veterans are being permanently honored in North St. Paul. We'll get a preview of the White Bear Township Day celebration, and we'll meet an artist who specializes in printmaking. All that and more is straight ahead on Northeast Journal. Hello everyone and welcome to the September edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Every month on Northeast Journal, we give you an inside look at the people and places that make up the Northeast section of the Twin Cities. The North St. Paul Veterans Park Foundation has been working for a number of years to create a space to pay tribute to veterans and their loved ones. A dedication of the new Veterans Park was held recently, and photographer Kenny Ronan captured these sights and sounds for us.
I'm very proud this morning to welcome you to the dedication ceremony for your North St. Paul Veterans Park.
The project committee gives you Veterans Park.
The City of Oakdale recently won a prestigious award for a unique pond at the Tartan Crossing development. Let's check it out. It's taken many years, but there's finally some exciting changes taking place at Tartan Crossing in Oakdale. There's the Waters Senior Living Complex and the soon-to-be-opened Hy-Vee grocery store. There's also a stormwater park and pond that the city recently won an award for from the American Society of Landscape Architects.
So what this space does is it takes all of the stormwater from this 18-acre redevelopment site. It comes off of parking lots, the street, into catch basins, through pipes, and then outlets into this first basin that's right here. And then as that starts to fill up, there's a couple of holes in the weir wall over there that you can see. The stormwater will flow through those into the next channels, and there's a concrete kind of stream that runs through it that helps keep the stormwater contained, drop sediment out, slow down the rate of the stormwater, And then it finally ends up in the far end on the west end, and then there's an outlet there. Cleaner water ends up flowing out of that and then on down to Tanner's Lake and eventually the Mississippi River.
The pond also has some amenities of a park with benches, picnic tables, and a path to walk on. The pond area also provides more benefits than just diverting the stormwater.
It's also planted with native prairie plants, and those help to clean the water, infiltrate it into the ground, and then it also creates interest year-round. So different things are blooming at different times. There's a lot of insect activity, pollinators, bees, butterflies, and even after the flowers are done blooming, there's seeds, which are food for birds. Saw a goldfinch in there just today. So it's fun to watch the wildlife and watch the flowers bloom over time too. There's always kind of something going on that's different over here.
It's time for a short break. We'll be right back to get a preview of White Bear Township Days. Welcome back to Northeast Journal. It's almost time for the annual White Bear Township Day celebration. With me now to talk about this popular celebration is event director Deb Stender. Deb, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And viewers of the show might recognize you. You were just on a couple months ago talking about Market Fest, which takes place in White Bear Lake, and you've successfully wrapped up summer season of Market Fest. Could you briefly just tell me how that went?
Sure, absolutely. It's hard to believe that another season has come and gone. The summer's gone so fast, but we had a wonderful event. Weather cooperated. Lots of people came out. I think we had some record-breaking attendance nights, so it was a wonderful time for all.
Great. And as I mentioned in my introduction, we're here with you today to talk about the White Bear Township Day. An annual event. I believe it's in its 8th year.
It is. It's the 8th annual White Bear Township Day in Polar Lakes Park.
Okay. And for those who aren't familiar with it, can you tell me a little bit about White Bear Township Day?
Absolutely. So it is meant to bring the community together. The actual event itself runs from 2 o'clock until 8 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock it ends with a spectacular fireworks display. There's a number of activities throughout the day, entertainment, vendors, food, activities for children, quite a few community businesses and organizations.
And again, this is on September 12th, is that correct?
Correct. Saturday, September 12th.
Great. And I understand, like you said, there's going to be live music there. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the bands that people can expect?
Absolutely. So this year we have 3 bands in the lineup. The first one that will kick off our event at 2 o'clock is Shakedown, which are some gentlemen from Forest Lake, so in the area. And then our next band is the Wildcat Combo. Some people may recognize them from Market Fest, but again, another local band. Many of the band members have been in other bands, Austin Healy, Ole, Rags, but some White Bear Lake ties and graduates in that band. Very excited about having them. And our headline band is called Critical Mass. And they are kind of an 80s, 90s rock and roll band, get you off your feet to dance band that will conclude our evening.
So it sounds kind of like a little something for everyone, regardless of your music taste.
Absolutely. That's what we strive for.
I understand, people can feel free to bring their own chairs or a blanket to kind of sit and relax and enjoy the music?
Yeah, I absolutely recommend that. It is an outdoor event, and so there's plenty of room and plenty of space in the park, but if you bring your own chair, BYOC, I'd recommend it, or blanket, to sit and be comfortable for wherever you'd like to sit. It would be ideal.
Now you mentioned, activities for families and, kids especially. What are some things, if you bring your kids on out to White Township Day? What are some things that they can find there?
Sure, absolutely. We'll have a plethora of inflatables and bounce houses, so that's always a hit. Petting zoo, there'll be many demonstrations. One, in fact, that we're very excited about is Tamarack Nature Center will be bringing their owls to have people look at them, get up and close, but talk about them. The fire department, Ramsey County Sheriff Department as well will be doing demonstrations.
Oh, great. And I know there's food there as well.
Oh, absolutely. So many different types of foods, again, to hopefully hit everybody's choice and palate.
Now, you mentioned, before that this event's, kind of about, bringing the community closer. Why should people attend this?
Absolutely. I think, too, it's that one day a year in that area where your neighbors, friends, businesses can get together, meet each other, greet each other, see old friends. And just being out in the outdoors in such a beautiful park that the township has is just a great way to spend your afternoon.
No, I've been to some of these in the past, and often that time of year can be really beautiful too. Mid-September, where maybe it's not so hot out, but yet, you still have some nice, fall temperatures to enjoy.
Yeah, we're absolutely hoping it'll be a beautiful day.
Yeah, and like you said, there's no charge, correct?
Correct. It's free admittance and free parking.
Great, yeah, so that's a perfect thing, especially if you're bringing the kids along. Obviously you might pay for some food or for some, tickets. Do you have to pay for tickets to go on the bouncy stuff?
There are some, Yep, it's a nominal fee for the bounce houses, and of course there'll be many vendors, merchants of all different types, artisans, crafts, so certainly things to purchase, a little shopping expedition as well.
And like you said, it is a nominal fee for the bouncy stuff. I know I have a son that's used that in the past, and it seems like he's gotten quite a bit of jumping and sliding for a very small fee. He was able to do that to his heart's content. So
Get that energy out. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, too, we also have a petting zoo. That's always a favorite for the little ones, too.
Great. And, I understand this is your first year connected with this event. How did, the township get in touch with you?
It is, sure, absolutely. Of course, doing Market Fest certainly lent itself well to being able to organize this event. And so they reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in that. And I said, of course, it's my community.
Great, yeah. And it's kind of interesting to learn a little bit more about, too, because I think a lot of people kind of think everything is just White Bear Lake, but it's kind of interesting, I think, for residents or people who aren't from there to learn a little bit more about what makes White Bear Township special and a little different from White Bear Lake itself.
Absolutely, and part of the event, the park board and the township will have information too of their various parks and goings on of their city as well, and the new township hall, or I should say the old township hall that will be being moved to the Polar Lakes Park this year too is an exciting piece.
Now, are you in need, volunteer help at all? I know, like for Market Fest, that tends to be something you need because obviously, that lasts several weeks and is on such a big scale. But is this something if people wanted to help out that they could?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. We are seeking volunteers to help in some various ways with parking. We have some auction items. We've got information booths. So anybody that's interested, I'd love to talk to them, and they can get in touch with me by going to the township website.
So imagine if they go to the township website, they'll find more information about the event. In fact, I know they will because I did that earlier today while preparing for this interview. There's a nice page with pretty much everything you'd need to know.
Absolutely. I'd encourage people to visit that.
I noticed on there, it gives more information about the bands that you spoke about and the time of the event and where it is and all of that. And again, it's Saturday, September 12th.
Correct. Yep, and from 2 to 8 o'clock.
2 to 8. And you said the evening concludes with some fireworks. And so that's kind of fun too, if a person, is hankering for some more fireworks, especially after, July festivities end, where we typically see that. It's kind of fun to get those again in the fall.
Yeah, it might be that last hurrah of the season.
All right, and kind of a fun time too, kids have just kind of started going back to school at that point, so chance to, for them to get a little break and have a little fun on the weekend with families.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we hope that this year's event is a great success, and I'm sure we'll see you out there, and hopefully you'll be involved with it for many years to come.
Terrific. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks a lot. And it's time for another short break. We'll be right back with more of Northeast Journal in just a minute.
This month, I'm pleased to welcome Shyle Nelson, a senior loan officer with TCM Certified Development Company. The TCM Certified Development Company has helped businesses in the White Bear area secure millions of dollars in Small Business Administration sponsored loans. You will learn about several of these specialty small business loan programs and their impact on the local business community. All on Your Business Matters. Please join me.
Welcome back to Northeast Journal. There are many talented artists in downtown White Bear Lake, and they all have their own unique ways of creating their art. Let's meet Emily Gray Kohler, who is a printmaker. If you're in the market for unique, limited-run art, then Emily Gray Kohler is the artist for you.
I'm a printmaker, and I work predominantly with color reduction woodcuts as well as collagraphs and monotypes. I've done the gamut of printmaking, but my kind of equipment and facilities allow me to do that. And I mostly create work that has to do with the environment, ecology, land use concerns, that sort of thing.
Kohler tells us a little bit about the printmaking process.
I would carve away what I wanted to stay white, so the petals on this flower and the petals on the trillium. And then I would ink the surface with the next lightest color. In this case, it would be the yellow. And then I would print that onto as many pages as I hope to get, plus some for screwing up. And then I would carve away what I want to stay yellow from the same block of wood. So at that point, I can't go back and print the yellow, so I'm committed at this point. And then I print the next lightest color, green in this case, and then carve away what I want to stay green, print the next red, this burgundy red, carve away, and then print the black.
It's an exciting moment when Kohler gets to see a finished product.
Basically, it's a little bit like Christmas in a sense when, and sometimes you get coal, I should say. So it might be a present, it might be coal. But when I print something and I pull up that it's every single time, even when I've printed a couple already and I know what it's going to be more or less, there's always that little bit of, fluttering of my heartstrings, and I get to kind of see what all this work has led to.
What does Kohler hope her artistic future holds?
I hope that I can continue to make art and to make a living doing so. And I hope that my art continues to challenge me and that I continue to challenge myself in doing it. And that I can grow as an artist and kind of get my work out there and have more people see it.
If you'd like to learn more about Emily Gray Kohler's art, you can visit her studio on 3rd Street in downtown White Bear Lake, or check out her website at studioegk.com. We recently had a story on our show that talked about opiate abuse leading to heroin addiction. Well, there's a program in Ramsey County that helps with fighting this epidemic. Producer Mary Klein and photographer Nick Anderson have the story.
Don't just leave it in the medicine cabinet. Bring it in here and get it disposed of so that somebody doesn't become addicted to those drugs.
Since 2011, the Ramsey County Sheriff's Department has been helping keep drugs off the street and pollution out of Minnesota's landfills and rivers.
As I walk in, I'll go to the front counter here and say...
Public Communication and Crime Prevention Coordinator Randy Gustafson says the number of drops has gone up steadily since the program began. In 2012, they collected 3,300 pounds of medications, and in 2014, 6,300. They're on target this year for collecting 8,000. The department hopes the increase will help decrease a bigger issue.
We've seen a real rise and near epidemic in the opiate abuse, heroin abuse, and the use of those drugs. And the gateway to getting into that heroin addiction has been the opiates.
Ramsey County was the first sheriff's department in the metro area to start a collection program. And dropping is easy. Simply come into the Arden Hills Patrol or Law Enforcement Center in St. Paul, seal your medications, and drop them in the lobby.
I just simply take them, drop them off into the medicine collection drop-off here.
Once the pills are dropped, the medications are collected and transported to an incinerator where they're turned into energy, helping to keep both our natural and social environments drug-free.
We're protecting the environment, we're protecting the people. It's a win-win-win.
Yeah, I
For a full list of medications that the county will take and also a list of drop-off locations, check out Ramsey County's website. We're almost out of time, but before we go, we were excited to learn that a story that first aired on Northeast Journal recently received an honorable mention in the Entertainment and Arts category from the Alliance for Community Media's Hometown Media Awards. Photographer Jeff Melcock and myself worked on this story on Can Do Canines. Let's take a look back at it. At first glance, Jonathan Prenoveau looks like your typical 7-year-old boy. He loves movies and spending time creating Lego masterpieces. Learning and socializing don't come as easy to Jonathan as other 7-year-olds, though, as he is on the autism spectrum. His parents, Pia and Dan, have tried many therapies to help him succeed, and they recently added a new member to the family to help him even more. This new addition is Duncan, an assistance dog that the Prenevos received from Can Do Canines. Pia tells us what it was like when Duncan first arrived at their home in February.
Jonathan was very excited to have a dog and really had a lot of pride in the idea that this was his dog, and he got to do stuff for the dog. And I don't know, that pride might be wearing off a little bit now. He has to do chores, but it's been a really good experience.
Assistance dogs from other organizations can typically cost up to $25,000, but Can Do Canines provides their dogs for free.
I just kept wondering where the fine print was. You know, it's like, wait a minute, they're going to give us a dog that they've invested all this time and money into, and they don't want anything in return. So, and that's exactly what it is. You know, we would never be able to afford an assist dog for Jonathan.
Can Do Canines, located in New Hope, trains close to 40 dogs a year that are placed in homes to help people with diabetes, seizures, mobility and hearing issues, and autism.
We train these dogs to keep the child safe every time they're in public. These kids don't have a natural fear, and they'll run into traffic or run into other dangerous situations. So anytime they get away from mom and dad, they're in danger of being hurt or killed. And what we do is we tether the child and the dog together so that if the child gets away and runs, the dog will lay down and not allow that child to go into dangerous situations. It can never be any further than 6 feet apart from the child and the dog. And the parent then can get control of the situation and calm the child and get back to normal business.
Executive Director Alan Peters started Can Do Canines 25 years ago. They survive entirely on donations so that they can give their assistance dogs to those who need them for free. It can take nearly 2 years to train an assistance dog with the help of volunteers. Peters has seen many individuals with autism benefit greatly from assistance dogs, not only with safety issues, but also socially.
People who would never have talked to these kids before now walk up to the kids and say, "What's your dog's name? How old is your dog? Can I shake his paw?" Those kinds of things. And before you know it, the children who don't normally communicate very well are now starting to talk to these strangers. And that's a great experience for mom and dad to see their child interacting with others.
Jonathan is a good-natured child who is very intelligent. His parents think Duncan will help him to relate even more with other people.
When they evaluated us, what they found was they wanted a dog with some more energy, because Jonathan's a pretty low-key, hard to bring out of his shell kind of kid. And so they gave us, Duncan, who has, doesn't get riled with other children, is very easygoing in that respect, but also has some energy and is kind of bringing Jonathan out of his shell.
It can take quite a few years to get a dog after being on a waiting list, but for the Prenoveau family, the wait has been worth it.
Our goals with having an assistance dog is to have someone who can help keep Jonathan safe, who can be help bring him socially out of his shell, to help teach Jonathan what it is to have responsibility, and then to also have a dog that we know can help manage the upsets that come with Jonathan, because at times he has upsets, and not every animal would necessarily be able to handle that, but these dogs have been trained to really deal with those things.
Duncan will play many roles in Jonathan's life in the years to come, but it looks like the most important one is being a great friend.
Overall, he's kind of a constant in Jonathan's life where like his teachers and friends and everything have expectations, either socially or academically, and Duncan has no expectations at all. He's just there. And he's always a friend to him and always has a big wet tongue for him.
If you're interested in learning more about Can Do Canines, visit their website at can-do-canines.org. You can donate money at their website and also learn about volunteer opportunities, including fostering a dog until they are fully trained. That's all we have time for. Thanks for tuning in and join us again next month for another edition of Northeast Journal.